Hello everyone, welcome back! In today's video, let's take a look at the 7 new cards from this week's FTCC Atletico Madrid pool. The first 6 cards can be obtained from the latest FTCC card pool. This time's SS player is Griezmann, with other players being Oblak, Depay, Llorente, and Morata. I'll introduce them in detail shortly. This card pool is a standard premium pool with a 4% chance for 3-star players. SS players are relatively more challenging to obtain at a 0.5% chance, while other players have a slightly easier 0.7% chance. As usual, FTCC draw tickets obtained from previous activities and tasks can be used in this FCTT, and the draw points accumulated in previous FTCC pools will also carry over. The last card can be obtained from the current event medal draw. By grinding event stages, you can easily evolve it 2 to 3 times. For a 4th evolution, you'll need to consume additional stamina, which may not be fully covered by the game's natural stamina recovery. However, there's no need to insist on a 4th evolution since such cards isn't competitive enough. Firstly, let's discuss the new changes to the chart that I created. The player's name, year version, and total basic statics are now at the top, with the color still indicating the player's attribute. The position graph is now fixed in the player information section for easier viewing. A new entry radar chart for basic values has been added to provide a quick and intuitive understanding of the player's ability distribution. The upper part of the radar chart represents offensive data, and the lower part defensive data. The middle column shows shooting and blocking, mainly influenced by strength. The left side is dribbling and tackling, mainly affected by speed, while the right side is passing and interception, primarily influenced by technique. The radar chart's specific settings are designed to reflect the differentiation of current environmental abilities. Now, let's look at Griezmann's design. His primary position is ST with a secondary position of CF, typical for a central forward. Offensively, his dribbling, passing, and shooting are all around 12K, which is high for an offensive player. His defense is around 8K, particularly weak in interceptions. His speed is fast at 7.6K, and his stamina is ample, much better than the players from the previous pool. His S trait, anti-defender, grants a 6% ability boost against defenders, which is great for a striker. It enhances shooting power against defenders but doesn't boost duels against goalkeepers, a significant disadvantage. An A-grade trait boosts low ball skills, and Griezmann is very good at low ball. His SS skill is low ball shooting, the first of its kind in the game. His A-grade shooting skill is a bit of a letdown, replacing it with dribbling or 1-2 would have been better. His low ball shooting has a powerful 41.1K, reaching 43.3K against defenders. Looking at the scoring ability leaderboard, with triple boosts on low ball, Griezmann ranks 5th among strikers. His scoring ability is close to the earlier S low ball Haaland. The primary reason for his lower SS skill power is the S trait not enhancing shooting, a pity in part of the game's design. You might think this shooting power would give him an advantage against all goalkeepers, but that's not the case. Although Griezmann can significantly dominate almost all goalkeepers, he's at a disadvantage against the 2 strongest technical attribute goalkeepers. Against Ter Stegen, it's not because Ter Stegen is exceptionally strong, but because his SS low ball lower trait grants a 9% boost against low ball shots. So when facing Ter Stegen, it's better to use high ball or ground shots, or preferably, use strikers of different attributes. Then there's Oblak, also introduced today, who has an advantage due to his S trait anti-speed. The best strategy is again to use strikers of other attributes. Against defenders, his low ball is 43.3K, unstoppable by any defender. His offensive dueling ability with dribbling against defenders is 34.8K, requiring guessing against mainstream technique and speed defenders. Against power defenders, he can largely dominate unless they have learned many duelist traits. His passing and 1-2 abilities are similar to dribbling, so I won't go into detail here. For SA recommendation, the left side is the guessing shooter type, balancing guessing and domination abilities for offensive threats. The right side is the pure shooter type, maximizing shooting ability at the expense of others. Choose according to your preference. For trait recommendation, attacking third is always the best choice for offensive players, enhancing not only shooting but also domination against defenders. However, for low ball shooters, low ball lover is even better, maximizing low ball abilities. Penalty master is another common trait for high and low ball shooters, but it lacks out-of-the-box domination ability and is probably less suitable than the A-grade trait low ball lover. As the game settings guarantee receiving a low ball in the box for a direct shot, Griezmann doesn't need extra low ballers. However, if your team includes wingers or midfield playmakers and Griezmann is the main shooter, I highly recommend equipping them with a low baller available in the store. Comparing Griezmann with the earlier Tots low ball Holland, we see Griezmann has stronger and more dimensional offensive abilities. In summary, Griezmann is a top-tier speed attribute striker. Despite being a low ball shooter, which requires extra operations, he has the ability to shoot directly in the box during set pieces, something ground shooters can't do. He also has additional abilities against blocking defenders, making him even more useful. His breakthrough ability is among the best for strikers, especially against power defenders. Although his defense is very weak, defense isn't a striker's primary role. With resources invested, including hard-to-obtain S-dribbling and S1-2, 3 attacking third traits, and 4th evolution, Griezmann can undoubtedly reach a 5-star striker level. Let's move on to goalkeeper Oblak, a catching goalkeeper. His stats distribution is good, with catching much higher than punching, which is a trend for S-skill goalkeepers. To compensate for the difference in SS skill power, it's essential to consider both basic stats and skill power. His stamina is very ample at 1450, offering up to 1595 in-game, allowing 3.47 uses of his catching skill with 459 stamina consumption. His S trait, anti-speed, is not my favorite as it only targets one attribute of strikers, effectively covering only 1/3 of situations. However, it's exceptionally strong against speed attribute strikers. His A-grade trait, secure catching, prevents catching slip-ups, which I've already explained in a previous video. Let's directly look at the data, starting with the goalkeeper leaderboard. Considering traits, Oblak is currently the second best goalkeeper and the strongest technique attribute goalkeeper. Without traits, he's slightly weaker than third-ranked Szczesny. Facing strikers, he struggles to dominate against power and technique attribute strikers but shines against speed attribute strikers. For SA recommendation, there's not much to say, the Catch GK plan is the only option. For trait recommendation, there are 2 directions, Catch GK or Functional GK. Catch GKs are inherently weaker than Punch GKs, mainly due to the lack of an S-grade skill move level up trait, with only an A-grade available. Shoot Crusher is the most beneficial, adding 4% ability against ground shots but not aerial shots. Other general traits include high stamina enhance. Another direction is enhancing functionality. Since the inherent A-grade secure catching only has a 60% chance, learning another one ensures no slip-ups. Since catching can only be used 3.47 times, learning a stamina cost reduction trait allows slightly more usage. While it can't reach 4 uses, activating full power in critical moments can make a significant difference. In summary, Oblak is the strongest technique goalkeeper in the game and the strongest for catching. His highlight is dominating all speed attribute strikers. However, his inability to dominate mainstream power and technique strikers, coupled with the low growth potential of catching goalkeepers, might make him less practical than punching goalkeepers. The main issue is the poor traits, especially the S trait. Anti-speed is not a good trait, and the A-grade trait doesn't add abilities. So, despite being the strongest technique goalkeeper, I can only give him 4 stars. Next, we have Depay, a CF primary position player. He can also play ST and LW, but with only 1181 stamina, I recommend only using him in his primary position. The radar chart shows decent offensive abilities, particularly in shooting, but a glaring weakness in interceptions. His S-grade trait, Duelist, is typically good, but due to his weak interception ability, it doesn't significantly enhance his defense, mainly boosting offensive guessing. His A-grade trait, attacking third, is excellent but suffers from a low-value boost. His S shooting skill is average at 34.5k, not first-rate for a striker. His A-grade dribbling skill, with 35k power when guessing right, is also just average. Looking at his scoring ability, he doesn't rank high on the leaderboard with 34.5k shooting power. While not the highest, his scoring ability is still viable in the current game environment, especially against technique and speed goalkeepers. However, he struggles against the top 3 technique goalkeepers. His offensive guessing ability is decent, but he lacks domination power. His defense is very weak. His best position is CF, not typically the closest to the goalkeeper, making him less ideal as your main scorer. He is usable, but I wouldn't recommend him as a priority draw target, giving him a 3-star rating. Now for Depay, a CM-only player with top-tier stamina. His ability distribution is offensively biased, particularly in passing, but overall weak in defense, especially in interceptions. His A-grade trait, midfield third, is good but low in value. His inherent S passing skill reaches 35k, quite strong, while his dribbling is average at 35k, and interception at 28.6k is low. Depay's passing ability ranks 9th among players. His 35k passing is impressive among S skills, though it falls short of the top SS passers. The table shows his passing power when dueling against other players' interceptions, struggling against mainstream speed players. He can dominate against weaker power attribute defenders but has a tough time against technique players. For SA recommendation, the typical MF4 guess plan is advised, enhancing both offensive and defensive guessing abilities. If you prefer to develop him towards offense, sacrificing defense ability allows a slight boost in dribbling and passing. An extreme alternative is focusing solely on passing. Trait recommendation varies between bully-wise and guess-wise. For bully-wise midfielders, pursuing domination is costly but rewarding. Guess-wise players can simply equip 3 duelists from the store, though this limits their domination potential. Comparing Depay with a similar power attribute CM passer, Gullit, we see Gullit has a slight edge in passing and significantly better defense, especially in interceptions. In summary, Depay is a robust passer with abundant stamina but limited by his single position and weak defense. I'd rate him 4 stars. Moving on to Llorente, his main position is RM, with secondary positions including CM and RB. His stamina is also quite high. His abilities lean towards offense and interceptions, with weak tackling. His speed is very fast at over 8k. His S trait boosts dribbling skill power, complemented by his inherent S dribbling, making it stronger than his passing despite a lower basic stats. His A-grade trait, touchline master, is great for an A-grade trait due to its high value, but it limits his CM performance. His best ability, dribbling, ranks 16th. Most top cards are in the 34k-35k range, with the difference mainly in attribute counter. His defense, especially tackling, is weak, easily bypassed by speed and technique players and even by some stronger power players. His interception is better, only failing against technique players. For SA recommendation, the typical MF4 guess plan is sufficient, as dribbling isn't crucial. Touchline Master is the best trait for players mainly positioned on the flanks due to its high value boost. Middle third and anti-MF are also good options. In summary, Llorente is essentially an RM player. Placing him in RB poses significant defensive challenges due to his weak tackling. While his dribbling is strong, it's not as crucial for midfielders. I'd give him a 3-star rating, a standard performer. Next is Morata, another striker and the third one introduced today. He's also a low ball shooter, directly competing with Griezmann, and both are speed attribute. His offensive abilities stand out, but his tackling is weak, and interceptions, though higher, aren't great. His speed is very fast at 8k, but his stamina is slightly low at 1150 compared to Griezmann's 1358. His S trait boosts low ball power, with his inherent S low ball having a decent 37.1 k power. His A-grade trait, penalty master, also enhances shooting. Both traits don't boost any offensive ability, lacking domination power. Comparing with Griezmann's chart, Morata's abilities are notably lower. His scoring ability ranks 17th on the leaderboard, significantly behind Griezmann at 5th. Facing the top 3 technique goalkeepers, he struggles, but he can dominate speed and power goalkeepers. His SA and trait builds can follow Griezmann's model. In summary, having two similarly positioned and attributed strikers in the same pool is baffling. Morata is a weaker version of Griezmann, especially lacking in offensive domination. However, his scoring ability is still viable in the current environment, except against technique goalkeepers. The ST position is crucial, so I'd recommend prioritizing SS shooters. If you didn't draw Griezmann but got Morata, I suggest using other SS shooters first, rating him 3 stars. Lastly, let's look at Oblak from the event medal exchange. As a CB, a position as crucial as ST, typically only the strongest cards suffice, and event cards usually don't make the cut. His stamina is too low at 1111, and his defensive abilities are mediocre, with high passing but slow speed. His A-grade trait doesn't add ability and is useless. His inherent S blocking skill, with a correct guess, reaches only 35k, which is low and needs a tribute counter to be effective. His S tackling has a power of less than 30k, and his S interception is 32k, both not very high. His passing is 28k, which can easily be intercepted by frontline players. Detailed data is not essential here, as his overall abilities are not up to par, with low white values and an S trait that doesn't enhance abilities. In summary, Oblak has a low basic stats and doesn't meet the requirements for a CB. He might be useful in certain events or matches with bonuses, but once those are over, his utility drops significantly. In conclusion, this update brings generally good quality cards. Unlike the previous FTCC Dortmund pool where all players had low stamina, this time the stamina levels are moderate to high. There are 3 ST players, which is beneficial for new players lacking strikers. Griezmann is a top-tier striker in the game. Despite being a low ball shooter, he also has strong breakthrough abilities. Oblak is currently the strongest technique goalkeeper, though he still can't block many shots, but that's just the nature of the game. Depay has powerful passing abilities, making him a reliable organizer in the team. These 3 players are the best in the pool. The others are somewhat mediocre, especially the 2 strikers, suitable for transitional use rather than primary draw targets. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.